Hello everyone, this is p.1. I'm here giving you another video. This video is going to be a Zerg versus Terran. The map is going to be Tal'Darim. Before we get started, let's go ahead and talk about this map real quick and how it relates to ZvT. Now, on this map, I am going to go ahead and agree that this map is generally more of a Zerg favored map in ZvT, simply because the run distances are so long, especially if you're cross positions or even just any of these close positions over here. It's still going to be quite a bit of a run distance, and so it allows the Zerg player time in order to properly react to what the Terran player is doing or what he's pushing out with. Mutas are incredibly powerful on this map simply because of how big it is and everything else. It makes it for very easy harass. It also makes it very easy to go ahead and harass tanks as they're pushing to your base. And also on this map, until you actually get up to the first possible 3 bases for Zerg players and for Terran players, this whole area right here is very, very wide open. Now, it's very important in TVZ, especially on Tal'Darim, that everything on this map is going to be a position war. You know, one of the best ways you can really defeat a Terran on this map is to go early mutas, deny his drop harass or any other harassment you might be trying to do with drops. And then whenever he tries to push out, going ahead and engaging him here in the middle area, simply because it allows you to engage him out of position, and that way even if he beats back your attack, you still have lots of time to go ahead and reinforce. Now, if he did spawn in this position, it's very important to never give up the Zalanga Watchtower, simply because from there they can go ahead and set up siege tanks very, very easily, and it makes it very difficult for you to deal with that sort of tank position, especially when they can just siege them up right here by your natural, and then, you know, they just go ahead and just start shelling the crap out of all your workers. Likewise, if they're positioned over here, what you don't want them to do is you don't want them to get up here and go ahead and position tanks outside your ramp. It's really, really bad, especially once you start getting up the ramp. And on this position, it's also very important to make sure that you don't lose this Zalanga Watchtower. Make sure you always try to control that position. On this map, creep spread is incredibly important on this map simply because of how large it is, and it makes it very difficult for you to engage a Terran army without creep spread, simply because the speed upgrade to all of your lings and your banelings is very, very beneficial. Because of how large this map is, it's important to get creep spread started early. It's important to stay on top of your creep spread. Now, I'm not saying you need creep spread, you know, covering 2/3 of the map, because the amount of creep you require to do that is just absolutely insane, just because this map is so large. But we'll go ahead and talk about my opponents real quick. My opponent's going to be PD Names, or Namus. I don't really know how ready to say his name. He is a 1.1 point Masters player. And I'm going to be his opponent. My name is p.1. Just call me Cor for short, it's just easier to say. I'm going to be the blue Zerg in the upper right hand corner, and I am currently sitting at 1.2k points in Masters. So we're going to go ahead and get this game started. Now, on this map, especially in Zerg versus Terran, I think it's incredibly important to always, if you can, try to get that 14 hatch. You don't really need to worry about 2 racks in this map, simply because, once again, the run distance is so large. Especially, you probably don't need to worry about, you know, all-ins like a Marine SCV all-in, or like a 7 racks all-in, because, you know, once again, you know, the distance is just huge, and if you see it coming, it gives you so much time to react to it, that most of the time you can just beat them back without too much problem, with just straight links. Okay, so on this map, my initial plan is to go ahead and open up 14 hatch. Now, I did send out an earlier scout. I sent it out at 9, simply because, once again, this map distance is so large, and if I can, I want to go ahead and get into his base. You know, I want to see what the Terran player is up to, you know, because, once again, getting that drone scout in there is just so incredibly important. It allows you to do so much. It allows you to predict what he's doing, and it allows you to cross off certain builds that he's doing. And because of, once again, how large this map is, getting in an Overlord scout is going to be incredibly difficult. So I'm going to keep going or whatever. I am still droning up. I'm at 14 supply right now. As you can see, I rally my 14th drone just to go ahead and go to my natural. Just simply because if I, you know, micro my workers correctly, generally it shows up after I hit about 200 minerals. I am a little bit off this game, but that's not too big of a deal. and by the time you reach this area you should have about 300 minerals and should just be ready to pop that hatchery almost instantly. So I have the minerals right now. I am going to pop this hatchery. Now on this map, I am going to go ahead and open up 14 hatch, 14 gas, 14 bolt. This is because it allows you to get at those early speedlings. So I'm running by right now, and I notice that he has one barracks, one supply depot. Doesn't really tell you anything, but because of how quickly this barracks is almost done, I can pretty much cross off 2 racks. It's not going to happen. Now with this build, when you go with the 14 gas, now if I do see a 2 racks going down, I may have the extractor, but I'm not putting any drones on it, just because I'm going to want all the extra minerals I can to pump out lings and everything in order to defend a possible 2 racks. Hold on one second, guys, I'm sorry. We'll go ahead and change this to busy. So, we're getting it started now. I'm going to start scouting around his base. Now, I want to go ahead and see if he has a gas. So I don't see a gas yet. And now I see it. He has the gas going down. So I know he has a gas, but I know he doesn't have a second gas. Now, I don't want to run my drone on waves. I want to keep it in the base. I want to see what he's up to. I want to see if he's going to grab a second recipe and geyser. I want to see if he's going to put down a factory. And so try to micro your drone away from his marine is incredibly important if you can. Now, you don't want to go up here when you're microing around, just simply because, you know, it's way too easy for the marine. Now, I am going to try to run away and get as much information as I can, but he is microing his marine correctly. I don't see a second gas, so right now I have no idea what he's up to, but I have a pretty good idea that it's probably going to be Hellions. I know there's no 2 racks, so I can go ahead and I can just start. I can get that 100 gas really early for speed, and so I can pretty much predict that there's not going to be no pressure coming. So I am meandering drones a little bit. Now, once I hit 100 gas, I am going to pull all my drones off gas, because now I want the minerals to get another queen, I want my minerals to get lings out and everything else, and also to get the speed upgrade, which I am starting right away. Now, on most maps, I wouldn't start speed that early. I'd go ahead and start it just a little bit later, simply because they're smaller maps, and this is once again a much larger map. But I am making four lings right away. Now, I want 2 to control these 2 Xel'Naga watchtowers, simply because it allows me to see if he's going to do anything funky, and then I'll use my other 2 to go ahead and scout to his ramp. Now, the Terran player is being very smart. He is putting 2 Marines up here by the ramp just to try to deny any sort of scouting of his front door. And he is also putting down a command center, so he is going a Reactor Hellion opening. Now, Reactor Hellion opening is a very good opening for Terran. It gives them early map control from the Zerg, because our Lynxes aren't going to cut it normally. And it also allows them to do possible harass on the mineral line, especially if you've just been droning up this whole time and you're not prepared for any sort of Hellion push. But that's why I got the speed so early on this map, is I know Reactor Hellion is a very common opening for Terran on this map, and so it will allow me with the speedlings to deal with Reactor Hellions, and I'll give you an example in a little bit. So I am sending my scouting. I am sending these first 2 down just to see what is going on. And once again, these 2 Marines are there. Now, if you have these 2 here, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to run them by, because I don't really see the point. And I actually missed the Hellions. Just barely I missed the Hellions. So he's trying to kill my Marines, and I'm going to run by, and I am going to see the factory with Reactor Hellion. And I do see the 2 Hellions coming along the way, so I know Hellions are coming. I'm trying to get out some more speedlings in order to properly deal with these Hellions. I do have another queen on the way, so this is definitely going to be a little bit close. I definitely don't have enough units out in order to deal with this right now. And he's going to start burning it. Now, it's very important when you see Reactor Hellions coming to your mineral line. The thing you don't want to do is take your drones and run them away, because then you just line them up just perfectly for Hellion burns. You don't want to do that. So just keep them mining, and then my lings came out and I was able to pretty much just shoo these guys away. And I don't believe I lost any probes, but I could have. I very well could have. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm still getting used to this whole thing. Control R. Okay, so he actually did go ahead and burn. He actually did get 1 of my workers. He got 1 earlier, so he's gotten 1 of my workers, but no big deal. But I got 2 of his Hellions. So it's not exactly that worth it. You know, he hasn't really paid for his investment yet. pumping out more Hellions. He is getting down a command center and putting down another barracks right away. Once again, very common opening for Terran to do this. So he's just sitting here. I am getting some more links. I do see that the Hellions are still there. Now, the one thing I do have is I have a drone. I have a Zergling just sitting right here. So I know if he's pumping out any more units. And generally, I can see the Hellions. Okay, so I know he's making more Hellions. I know he's coming in. So I'm going to keep making Zerglings because I want enough Zerglings in order to defend against, let's say, 4 to 6 Hellions. So I do see the Hellions. Right now I do know that he has 4. As you can see, he is making 2 more. So he's definitely going to try to make something happen here. And I know I'm not droning up a lot. I'm just getting a lot of lings. Now I am going to put one group of lings over here and put another one over here to see if he's going to try to run up and go around. But basically my intention is to go ahead, have him run in here, and then use these guys to block him in this way, and then have these guys run back in here. And pretty much get a surround. So if you can get a surround on the reactor Hellions, you have a huge advantage. So I know he has the Hellions, so he's going to try to run in here. I'm going to run my lings away, and then this is where he made the mistake. This is how you do it. He ran in here to try to get drones. That's what he's aiming for. He's aiming for drones. But if you use your lings, especially on creep, and then you have speed on them, if you get a good surround on these Hellions, those Hellions are going to be dead, especially because they're not blue flame. So as you can see, I did actually end up surrounding his Hellions. Now, I got minimal losses. He lost all 6 of his Hellions. And now I'm in a good position. And I still have a whole bunch of links for map control. I did not lose enough. Like, his investment pretty much just failed right there. And now I feel free just to pretty much drone up right now, because I am going to go for early mutas. He does have a factory out. He is starting siege tank. He did switch out his barracks with more marines, so he is getting more and more marines. And I'm going to start breaking down these rocks. Now I do want to get out. Mutas, just simply because on this map mutas are very, very powerful, and I'm very, very aware of Terran doing like a very heavy tank initial push after reactor Hellions. I know that's what he can do. I know that's what he's most likely going to do, and I want to be ready for it. Also, getting out this quick layer will also allow me to deal if he's trying to make a transition into possible Banshee harass or anything like that. But once again, I'm not really going to be able to scout what's going on. As you can see, I'm immediately getting all 4 Zelnanga watchtowers. So I have 2 lings right here. I did not scout immediately. I would have been able to see that tech lab glowing, and I would have been able to see the tank almost right away. That would have been absolutely fantastic. I am getting a Bangley's Nest. Now, I'm not getting a Bangley's Nest. I think it's very important before you get the mutas. Oh, and I did run in my lings right there. I'm going to see if I actually was able to see the tank or not. Now, I didn't get the Bangley's Nest because I think it's important to get Bangling speed. And I think it's very important to get Bangling speed before... I'm so sorry, guys. I think it's important to get Bangling speed before you start getting the mutas, simply because when that first push comes, having that Bangling speed, the lings, and the mutas already done is going to be just a huge advantage in terms